Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. Whoa, we do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Whoa, Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain Revolution. OnChain. OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto, ecosystems. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for another OnChain hour, and this one is going to be absolutely awesome, guys, because Bitcoin is looking to break out. Bitcoin sitting at $94,500. Wow. With a couple weeks, right? It's been a pretty wild couple weeks. We were seeing 79,000 2 weeks ago, and right now we're sitting around 95, right around 95,000, 95 earlier. We're both bullish here. We're both very bullish. We think 120K is going to be potentially in May, right? That would be awesome. I don't think there's going to be a sell in May and go away this year, guys. I think we're going to have a very bullish summer. But today, I'm here to welcome back my partner. We got Mr. Yagobi here. He's back and better than ever, guys. It is going to be an amazing week, an amazing show, and I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are packed. I hope you guys are really learning from what past mistakes, right? Maybe we got to take profit a little bit more. Maybe we have to do some better portfolio management and stuff like that. So we're actually gonna cut down the amount of macro that we're putting into these shows and actually get you guys more involved in different ecosystems, maybe kind of learn what is happening in different places, but still always come back to the Bitcoin and Rune side. So today we're starting off Bitcoin Runes from hype to reality. What's next? We'll give you guys our breakdown of that later. But let's get the show started. So without further ado, let's bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? Are you back? You back and ready?
Yes, I am back. I was in paradise for a bit, but I feel like people that have passion for what they do, they at some point they start itching to get back, and I hit that, I would say, after day 3. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I feel refreshed. I feel like look, if I need to go away for a couple days for Bitcoin to jump up $10,000, I won't do it because I love you guys so much. Now, just kidding. But that was great, something great to come back to, right? To see Bitcoin going up. We kind of expected it with the M2 money supply, and the first is right around the corner. So the weekly chart is looking juicy. We'll get into that later during the Bitcoin price action.
Yeah, man, definitely. How was it though being away and then seeing Bitcoin pump? Like, were you just constantly staring at your phone? I know when you're on vacation, your wife's like, let's not do that today. Like, how was it for you? And what was your reaction during the last, like, I mean, we went from 82 to 95 in one day last week.
So it was really great to see that. I was obviously paying attention to Bitcoin's ecosystem assets and the alt market,
Yeah.
and I feel like that started happening towards the end of my trip, where that started kicking up. Fartcoin has really been kind of running for a while, but to see the runes kind of get some strength, and this is nothing yet. We got to get Dog back to that right at that $1 billion mark, and actually pass it to. I think that's where the start kind of happens for runes, right? It's like
Yeah.
getting Dog back over $1 billion. To me, honestly, for this entire bull run that we have left, is not that big of a deal. It's an expectation, and once that starts to happen, I think we'll see the tier 1 centralized exchange listing. We have the slingshot, catalyst as well coming up. So I think there's a lot of upside here for the Bitcoin ecosystem, and that's not even talking about Arch Network. That's they have a date now in June, and you held it down amazingly while I was gone in terms of having Dan held on, and I watched that. You crushed it, and so there's a lot coming here, guys. I'm telling you, it's the sneaky narrative that was once talked a lot about, then really pushed behind the curtain, and now I feel like it's boiling up. It's like it's gonna happen. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Really excited to see what happens here. I mean, runes are 1 year old. 1 year old, right? So how do you say that? 1 year old? Or yeah, your runes are 1 year old, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's been a tough year. I mean, it's been a complete bear market since April, with that 1 month, November, December, right? I think it was like November 20th to December 20th was kind of like the only boom we really got from runes this entire year of runes being available.
Yeah, I agree. And it was strong for that 1 month, but it was
Yeah,
like it wasn't sustained enough to have any satisfaction, right? Like, because
yeah,
you had to take profit pretty quick, but like if you look back, something like $1 Billion Cat got to $155 million, or
yeah.
Pups, I think, crossed over 200 million. And you look back at the market caps now, and you realize that like they're not they still have a 10x from where they were, but that's kind of the restarting point. So I think we have a lot of upside, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens here the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, man. But I mean, what happens in the next 3, right? Let's kind of get right into our first thing here.
Yeah.
Valentine's Crypto says global M2 versus Bitcoin. I am confident the next big move up. Here's why. So this is something we talked about a lot, right? This is the Colin talks crypto. So now he has it off to 80 days, right? So before he had 77, then he had 108. Now he's kind of saying, I love the 80 day. So changing his point here, which is awesome, because you should always be open to changing your ideas and and what you think is going to happen. So it's showing right now that we're here. So this is if you don't know, this is the yellow line is the M2 money supply. This is money being printed, right? And then you got the Bitcoin price, which is an orange. And as you can see, Bitcoin and the money have just been pretty much following each other to a T here. We are flying up here. We are now here. Around 93K is where he had the number here. And he is showing that he's still thinking that we're going to hit 160 by July.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Looking at the weekly chart, which gets me extremely bullish for Bitcoin. I would say, conservatively speaking, and we'll get into it more in depth during that segment, but something around like 120 to 135, 40. But if we do hit that, in the next, what is that target? Is that towards the end of the year, or is that in June?
July.
July. Okay. July. Yeah. So that I'm kind of a little bit under that, because I am thinking more conservative, just because the PTSD is there, obviously. But I would not be shocked if that hits.
So this line right here is July 1st.
Gotcha.
So you are right. It is June. So it is looking like sideways. But like, if this is right, by June here, which is right here, we're going to be at 120K.
Yeah.
So we're 40 days away from 120K. According to this.
Yeah, it definitely looks possible, right? And like I said, that weekly chart really shows, and so I'm excited, because I do feel like we do need to get to that new all-time high, right? Whether
Yeah.
that's $10,000 more than the last one, we need it. I think the all-time
Yeah.
high is what, like 108, 109, something like that.
109, yeah.
Yeah.
108,
Okay.
109, yeah. You're
So
dead on.
so like 120, 125, that would hit that satisfactory kind of price point. And then we would see some of the, alts really kind of take off. That I think the runes kind of could be vibrant at that point.
Yeah.
You'll probably see other ecosystems really kind of take off, because I do expect for us to get this euphoria and then kind of pull back a little bit before the Q4 kind of blast off. But that's just my
Yeah.
perspective.
I'm actually thinking that too. I'm thinking we get to 160 in let's just say middle of June, and then you kind of see some sideways action until September. Right? We stay at 160, between 160 and 140, and we kind of float there until September, October, and then we see that next leg up to 210, 220, and then maybe that's when the full bull run happens, right? And maybe we see 210, 250, 290, 300, 500. States are buying, countries are buying, businesses are buying. It's just not enough for Coinbase to hold, and that's kind of when we see that 700K boost maybe next May.
And we never experienced that in the previous bull
No.
runs. What we experienced in the previous bull runs was, there was kind of like the marketing behind it, right? Like Bitcoin's taken off, it's going to like 40, 50, and it was more of like centralized exchanges in the headlines, and
Yep.
and like maybe a little bit of like these pension funds, which got burnt. Remember last cycle Canada had like, I think it was like a teachers, but this was before like the mass adoption of nation states, right? This time I think whenever it goes up, the FOMO is going to come from a nation state level. So
Yeah.
imagine how much that's going to create more FOMO, right? Bitcoin getting to 180, 200. Now you're going to hear it, Saudi Arabia just acquired this much Bitcoin for its reserve, or this country acquired this much Bitcoin, and they're going to be creating FOMO for each other. Imagine how much that's going to trickle down to like retail. I think it's going to have a strong effect, but we'll see, because it's something we've never experienced before. It's exciting though.
Yeah, and one thing that I was watching some YouTube show this morning. His name escaped me. Ivan on Tech, and Ivan was saying that retail comes when alts pump. Retail doesn't come when Bitcoin pumps. Retail doesn't want Bitcoin. Retail wants 10, 20, 30, 100 X's, right? That's when retail will come in. And I was thinking about that. I was like, you're right. Like that's why retail came into AI coins so quickly. That's when retail really started going into Solana tokens, right? When you saw these pumps that were absolutely insane, that's when retail comes, not when Bitcoin gets to 120, but when Ethereum gets to 4,000, when Solana gets to 400 or 500, right? That is when you're going to see retail come in with their bags, and they're going to be ready. Bags open, filling them up.
Yeah, I actually agree with that as well. They are looking for that kind of home run hitter, when they come in. And if you think about it, people were like, well, retail's never coming. You have to remember, we haven't had a sustained enough of bull market environment. Like it has to last longer than a month. We need something between like 3 and 6, to where, I mean, this is going to sound bad, but it's kind of like hook, line, and sinker, right? Like they need more like, conviction to say, okay, it's going to last long enough for me to find 100x or something. But if it goes away after a month, like the AI craze did in January, they're not going to hang around for that. No. They're seeing it crash. It scared them.
Yep. And they're out. They're going to have PTSD next time they go to get in, right? But let's just say their friends are hitting these 10, 20, 30, like 40xers. They're going to come back in, right? Everyone's going to FOMO back in. And the earlier they come in, the more they'll be successful, as long as they take profit, right? That's kind of something that I'm trying to get myself into, taking more profit quicker, because you just don't know what happens, right? And it's probably going to hurt me in the long run. I'm probably going to miss out on a lot of stuff, but I'm going to be able to sustain and keep moving forward.
That's the biggest key, sustainability.
Yep. All right, let's kind of get into the next thing here. So this one kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We've got to talk about it. ZachXBT flags $330 million Bitcoin theft involving 3,520 Bitcoin laundered through Monero, triggering a 50% rise on XMR, which is the Monero token. Price surged to $339. Pretty nuts. So I'm really hoping this wasn't a nation state. I'm really hoping that this was kind of just, I don't know. That's a lot of Bitcoin, bro. 3,500 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Laundered through Monero. Absolutely insane. ZachXBT is always on it, though.
He is always on it, and I think he commented because I saw this story on crypto Twitter, and I looked below it, and he stated that it was an OG wallet, so
Okay.
someone that got in early for Bitcoin, which sucks too. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine like holding that entire time and then getting your wallet drained. So hopefully, I mean, it's gonna be really tough. You know, you send it to Monero. It's how you gonna determine to freeze anything, right? I don't think that's
Yeah.
possible, but we'll see if there's any good news that comes out of this. The good thing is, I think that Bitcoin is kind of in the state to kind of push through something like this right now. So.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, they're obviously selling down the Bitcoin into Monero and then sending it because Monero is probably one of the best ways to hide money laundering. I guess the money launder. So it's definitely something they're doing. But you're saying that that $330 million sell down didn't even affect the price, right? So
Yep.
all right. It's kind of getting to the next thing here. So Sui surges 73% last week, boosted by Grayscale Trust. Grayscale just opened a Sui Trust and Mastercard partnership. So I went and dug into the Mastercard partnership. So Sui partnered with X Portal and X Money to launch a virtual Mastercard, letting users spend Sui at 20,000 merchants in Europe via Apple Pay and Google Pay. So right now this is just in Europe, but they're potentially going to have this in the US. But now you can keep Sui and go shopping with your card here. So Sui's looking like it's really evolving here. And I think we have to do a deeper dive into Sui and really start educating people on it because this might be one of the winners of the cycle.
I think it is starting to already establish that, right? They're in headlines. Their partner, like there's builders that we know that are building there that are our
Yeah.
partners and other people that you know, and then you hear the Pokemon rumors. Those are rumors, by the way. There's no
Yeah.
official statement out from them, but they are making waves, right? So yeah, I think a deep dive with Sui would be great for the audience, but look out for them. And the one reoccurring, you know, words that I'm seeing is Apple Pay, which is huge
Yeah.
because that's adoption, right? You know, Apple Pay probably makes a tiny amount, but if they can do that across like so many different regions with so many different currencies and stuff, that they'll make out like bandits.
Yeah. And if Apple sees where the money can be made, they might get in even deeper, right? So you might see
Exactly.
Apple start making products around this stuff where it's easy to get in and get out of these things. But look at the Sui candle, bro. This is a weekly candle for Sui. It started at $2.12, got up to about $3.79, has now settled around $3.50. Absolutely insane. This Sui was one of the triggers back in November, right? When Sui ran from $1.70 to $3.15 in one candle. Is history about to repeat, bro? Is Sui a leading indicator of an alt season?
I'm not sure if it's a leading indicator, but they have been doing a lot of right things, right? I think what propelled them during that time was they were like, "Hey, look, Pump Fund's working for Solana," and then they had their own meme launch pad as well, and it got some attention. And so, yeah, look, they're one of the main token narratives, right? So I think they're going to be an indicator of, okay, you know, we're back at least for now. Let's see how crazy this can get until, like you and I both said, maybe the end of the summer where there's a chill down, kind of calm down point. But let's not even talk about that. Let's enjoy what's happening now, right? We had enough of that to start the year.
100%, dude. I'm ready to turn that page and start getting bullish here. But something really bullish right now is Coinbase to launch a Bitcoin yield fund on May 1st, offering 4 to 8% annualized returns to non-US institutional investors through a cash and carry trade strategy. So now you'll potentially be able to lock up your Bitcoin on Coinbase and actually get a 4 to 8% yield. Where is this yield coming from? Where do you think, first off, and second off, cash and carry trade strategy? What is? I gotta look more into this, but it seems pretty nuts.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I need to definitely research that term and what that associates with what's going on here. But the 4 to 8% annualized returns, I think people that are used to TradFi and have accepted that Bitcoin is safe, it's obviously the safest asset here, are going to get excited about that, right? And also Coinbase falls under the SEC jurisdiction in terms of their, you know, what their practices would be and all that stuff. So they got to be careful. They can't be messing up, you know, like FTX did. And so I think that they're going to look at this as a juicy offering, right? Safe, better rates than they can get at a banking institution. And so I think it's going to be big. We'll see how much pours into it. It might be slow at first and then picks up, or it might just start off as with a bang.
Yeah, 100%. But you're Michael Saylor, and you're looking at this, and you're like, I have a lot of Bitcoin. Let me get that 4 to 8% annualized yield, sir.
Right.
But that would be pretty big for them. But speaking of Michael Saylor, let's kind of get right into it. Yesterday he posted his Saylor chart, the Find Michael chart. And Uncle Mike does it again, bro. He bought 15,355 Bitcoin for a price of 1.4 billion, bringing their total holdings to 553,555 total Bitcoin, or 37.9 billion at an average price of $68,459. Absolutely insane. People say Saylor buys the top, but it's looking like Saylor was buying the bottom there as well. At least the bottom on this range. Saylor has been an absolute beast. Do you think he stops? Do you think he stops at any point here?
Maybe after this run, after Q4, I think he probably pauses for a bit. But I'll just say, give me that 55 at the end. You can go ahead and make it even. 500.
Give me the 5, bro.
500. Yeah. 553,000 even, or 500,000 even. I'll take that last 55. But yeah, I mean, this is getting crazy, right? At this point, he's. I don't know, dude. Like, is he gonna be able to reach 1 million? That's pretty far off, right?
I mean, so in the next 5 years, maybe, right? If Bitcoin has this tremendous run, it just seems so crazy that you can just take out loans. But he said this, right? He said, if you buy a property in Manhattan, you buy a building on Manhattan, you're buying it so you can take a loan out on it. And I was like, oh wow. He's like, I'm buying a property in cyberspace called Bitcoin, and I'm just leveraging that Bitcoin. Like, it sounds nuts, but they've been doing this now for hundreds of years.
Yeah, with real estate,
yeah.
The difference I feel like is, and I think that Bitcoin will have products. He's probably a part of that right now, is figuring out, okay, I have all this Bitcoin. I got to figure out how I can utilize it to make as much as possible. And you have like the 4 to 8% with Coinbase, or, maybe there's another product out there, because with real estate, you obviously have the models of, renting out your real estate, using it for events, whatever, flipping it, that kind of thing, right? So with the flipping it and stuff like that, that's obvious. You can do that here. I think that we're going to see some interesting products involving RWA and Bitcoin, that kind of stuff come out, because it's going to be needed, in my opinion, for people like this. The 4 to 8% already is great, because I mean, that's just free money, right? That he can start paying down his loans on, right?
So more Bitcoin with.
See, that's the problem. Once you get to a point, your greed takes over. Hopefully, in this situation, you would pass that. I would hope you can have anything you want at this point.
But the only thing he seems to want is more Bitcoin. So it's like, all right, let's kind of get into the Bitcoin fear, crypto fear and greed here. So this one's gonna be pretty easy for you, I think. So last week we're at 39. Remember last week I was saying, dude, I think we're gonna be in the 50. I think we're gonna be in the 60s. I probably said that every week, though, to be fair, but I said it last week. And yesterday we hit a 61. Last week we were at 39. Where do you think we are this week? So my hint for you is we're a little lower than that 61. We're sitting nice in a nice place.
I would say 59.
A little lower. We're at 54, but right there. So we're 54. Where do you think we are tomorrow, with the potentially sitting at 94,000 right now? Do you think we stay? I kind of think we're sitting neutral again tomorrow.
Let's see. It's kind of early. Yeah, I think we're probably hanging around the same place here. I do think that I think we end up pulling back up overnight again. But it really depends on when that starts, because right now we're just kind of going to a little bit of a downtrend. So I wouldn't be shocked if we're hanging around the same place, maybe a little bit lower, 53, 52. But tomorrow, if it goes the way I think it will, without any other news or headlines, affecting it, I think we probably bounce back, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. Artura.finance. That's a site you all will be needing to go to. So Artura, what they're building is they're building a leverage trading platform. Think Hyperliquid, think a lot of these bigger names, right? That's kind of what they're going for. And they're actually doing this on a Bitcoin L2. The one they're choosing first is Hemi. And Hemi is actually really interesting because Hemi is actually backed by Binance, which probably means that Binance wants a token, which probably means since they don't have a token, that you might be able to get an airdrop. By using Artura.finance, when it goes to mainnet in the upcoming weeks, you potentially be able to grab yourself some Hemi, but not just Hemi. You'll also be able to grab yourself some Artura token as well. So double the airdrop, double the fun. All you got to do, take some trades, a little bit of leverage, a little bit of money, and potentially you might make thousands of dollars in airdrops. And I'm just guessing, right? This is all just me kind of putting my brain out there and learning from the past and kind of seeing potentially what could happen. But guys, check that all out at Artura.finance.
I love that saying. We should probably get that copyright written or whatever. Double the airdrop, double the fun. But yeah, it's exciting what they're building, guys. But before we get into Bitcoin's price action, which I'm excited to get into here, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live Monday through Friday. And then on the X side, guys, help us out because a lot of people are in Dubai right now for this week, the token 2049. But share the space for us, guys. We want to educate, onboard as many people to the crypto and Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. Same thing on Abstract. If you could share that stream, we love our Abstract crowd as well. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action here. We're going to start off with the hour chart, which I always do. And it looks like we are seeing some pullback here, which is fine. We got to remember like how much we pulled up last week, guys. And so, you know, to end Sunday, it actually did end, you know, with a downtrend, which I was like, okay, that makes sense. We had an uptrend pretty much all week last week when I was out of town. And then you can see overnight we had this rebound, which made sense again because you guys have to remember bullish, bearish don't matter. They're still market makers. They're still going to try to hit your stop losses. It might not last as long. It won't last as long if we're in a bullish uptrend for them to come back down, but they will come back down because they know that humans are greedy. And that's how they will make their money, guys. So be careful. Don't think everything is just up only. There will be probably like a 2 to 4 week period when that happens, but it's rare, right? You're going to see that once a year, twice a year in that bull market. But building up, it will seem like up only, but they're going to be hitting your stop losses as well. So let's take a look here of what happened once we did get to that 9:30 bell. We did see a bit of a huge candle on the hour down to the downside. We actually were at 90, almost 95,700 here. Got all the way down to 93,800. It's kind of like we're starting to form a little bit of a downtrend here. You can see the stochastics definitely heading to the oversold. We're sitting at that 30 point there. The oversold technically is at that 20 point. We're definitely going to get down here. You can see the MACD starting as well. The blue line starting to curl down, but that is fine, guys. You got to remember they are going to have it swing back and forth. And again, you know, they're going to try to hit your stop losses. So make sure you guys are being careful there. For the, you know, second half of today, for the next, I would say at least 4 to 6 hours, we'll probably see a downtrend, right? Maybe low 93,000s, high 92, kind of scare some people a little bit. But for the most part, you know, I like I said, I think it's just going to be a kind of downtrend that's swinging back. We are below the 50-day EMA on the hour chart, which doesn't mean that much, honestly. The 50 or the weekly chart means a lot more. The higher time frames you go, it means a lot more here. So you know, I probably expect us to have a couple more candles down here and then work our way back up overnight. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for the second half of today on the hour chart. Taking a look here on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour chart is an interesting situation because it looked like we were kind of having a setup here. You can see it looked like we were about to come out of the sell pressure on the MACD. And the hour chart actually looked like we were going to continue the buy pressure, but it decided, okay, no, we're done with the buy pressure on the 1 hour and we're going to continue the sell pressure on the 4 hour. So this chart is, you know, just kind of following that 1 hour chart a bit. But because we have been here since Thursday, And I know it hasn't necessarily felt like, okay, we've been in a downtrend. The 4 hours vary, every 4 hours is a candle, right? So I think this is still bullish, right? Because I think what we're going to do is probably hang out here for a little bit, see how that second half of today goes. As long as there isn't any horrible headlines, I think that sell pressure will happen, and eventually we start to reverse maybe late in tonight, and then we can kind of come out of this sell pressure. But you can see here we're still above the 50-day EMA. The stochastics kind of has this like cup here happening. You see a little bit of a cup forming, and maybe that handle here as well. So that's good too, because then we can bounce back up. So really need to see the second half of today to give us a 2 to 3 day forecast. But tomorrow morning, I'll definitely have more of a feeling of how the 4 hour chart is going to play out, and maybe give us something for Wednesday and Thursday. But yeah, so that is what I'm seeing there. And let's take a look here for the weekly, because this is my favorite chart right now, guys. I have really been focused a lot on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, because I was a little bit nervous about, coming from, an uptrend down and forming a weekly candle below the 50-day EMA. Was the last time that happened was the start of the bear market, and that was January of 2022. So I was nervous when we were kind of getting in here, but did have that conviction that it's way too early for something like that to happen. So for us to bounce back up here, this just makes me feel great, because the setup looks so good on the indicators, the leading indicators as well. You can see the MACD is curling back up. It wants to go up. I did tell you guys that I will feel much more comfortable when we're like 75% the way up on the stochastics, which we're about 50% on that leading blue line here, right? So we're heading there. So, barring any type of horrible headline, going to war or something like that, in my opinion, we will be heading above the previous, high that we saw here. Right now, can we see some choppiness? Sure, we can, but we've seen this first, really strong weekly candle here, and what that's indicated the past couple uptrends is when you have a long leg like that, you're going to have a continuation, right? You can see right here it happened, doot doot, and then we went choppy, kind of right here too, doot doot, with one little in between, and then choppy here. So I'm expecting something that I wouldn't be shocked if we have one maybe like red candle in between, and then continue up here. And that's why I feel comfortable about what I said earlier in June, kind of heading into June and July, is that one, getting a little bit higher than where we were previously, getting to that 120 to like 140 range, right? And I think he called for, what was his price that he called for? 160.
160.
Yeah, 160. So that would put us right above here, right? So right around here, and he called it in.
It was like June 31st.
Okay, so we're talking like right here, which that would be a really like vertical trajectory, as you can see right here, right?
Yeah.
So then like we're talking about like some strong green candles.
Well, I mean, look at the last time it went up, right? I mean, so you saw 2 straight green candles, but before that, you saw 1, 2, 3, 4,
it would
5.
It would be something like this. Definitely something like this. More than, I mean, they're kind of similar, right? But yeah, so it definitely could happen. But I think like the safe zone, even in the safe zone, you're looking at like between like 120 and 140, which to me, that could set off the alt market a bit too. The big question is going to be, if we do start to have Bitcoin ecosystem runes kind of take off, do we have this continuation with the alts through the summer? Maybe Bitcoin pulls back a little bit, but the alts don't as much, and then we have that blow off the top for everything in Q4. Because I can't really see another kind of like big like alts go up and then pull back in the summer, lose their momentum, and then up. You know what I mean? I feel like they would have to still have some momentum building, excitement over the summer, and I could totally see that.
I'm actually expecting that. I'm expecting Bitcoin to kind of hit 155, come back down to 145. Altcoins follow it, come back down, and then the altcoins really start moving Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin's sideways all the way until September, October, but the altcoins are just exploding every single day. New ecosystems are doing good. Everything's just kind of going up. And then Bitcoin kind of sucks away a lot of that liquidity and kind of takes its next leg up to 250, 300 or wherever. And then potentially that's when you see an insane alt season, right? So I'm actually expecting 2 alt seasons back to back with one in the middle where Bitcoin kind of sucks that liquidity to take its next leg.
Yeah, like a temporary, just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it's my turn again. Y'all
Yep.
are gonna chill. You're not gonna die this time, but you're gonna
No.
chill and wait
But like
again.
you
Yeah.
might see some 50% drops, 40% drops, right? Some hefty drops, but then a lot of that liquidity goes into Bitcoin for the next leg up.
Yeah. So the weekly chart looks amazing, guys. And I'm not trying to give you too much optimistic, energy. This is,
Go,
I mean,
baby.
this is exactly this is truly how I feel, because you guys know I've been hitting this weekly chart every single
Yeah.
day. And I said, once the setup happens here, and we get to that 75% where the stochastic is, I'm going to feel very confident that we're going to have that next explosion. So that's just where I am at with Bitcoin on the weekly. Looks great. The others chart, which let me change this to the weekly. So this is everything outside of Bitcoin and the top 10. Top 10 ranked market caps of alts. So everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10. So as I mentioned before, when I was back in town, this is going to be a little bit lagging because it's going to wait for Bitcoin to make that first move. And it's exactly what I'm seeing here, but it's still obviously green candles. But once that trigger happens, like I mentioned before, this will catch up, in my opinion. It will like fast track and start to catch up. And then I think we'll see a lot of those kind of mid caps and stuff benefit from it. There's some people on crypto Twitter that have different opinions. Like I think like Kook said that he doesn't think like, these alts will do as well. And there's a couple, I disagree. I don't think all of them will, but I think that like a good majority that have strong narratives will benefit immensely from this year. But I do think that's going to be a little bit lagging first. Bitcoin needs to get to that 120 to 130. Then we'll see this fast track, and it should be a good summer for us. So that is what I'm seeing, guys, on the charts. Yeah, and this is beautiful too. The crypto bubbles, mostly all green, and this is 1 through 100. So the stronger alts, a little bit of red trickled in there, but if you go a little bit more deeper, mostly greasy. Dog up 71.8%. We'll get into that later. But you see a lot of the Snake also from Cardano. Kraken has hinted multiple times they're going to list them, and look, that's the first Cardano altcoin listed. So Bitcoin, in my opinion, is going to be right there. So Dog, in my opinion, is going to get listed very soon after that, if not around the same time. So, but you're seeing these memes too. Mog is really bouncing back. So there's a lot of upside, but I feel like the upside is still in the Runes ecosystem, because you have Dog, which is doing well, but you also have like Pups, $1 billion cat. You have stuff like Bro Bear that like some of these bigger people are pushing. It's only at $2 million market cap, right? So once it opens up, I think the floodgates open.
Yeah, and you got to think too, right? Like, so I think there's gonna be a meme coin in every ecosystem. There's gonna be a DeFi project in every ecosystem. There's gonna be different things in different ecosystems. But like to find that winner was probably gonna be the one that's been held down the longest, right? So you just have to really pay attention. Like when I had Connor OnChain on last week, his main advice at the very end was look at stuff that no one's paying attention to, because that's what will pump next, because that's what the whales do. They DCA into stuff that no one's looking at, right? No one's looking at them putting, a couple $1,000s into this and then go bigger and bigger and bigger as the green candle goes up. So you want to look at stuff that like hasn't moved yet, and that's what could potentially move next week.
Yeah, and people like new stuff, and like Solana has kind of had its moments, and they're still strong, right? Like right now, but like, having the Bitcoin ecosystem really flourish again to where it hasn't really since 2023. I think it's overdue, and you're right. I think whales have been accumulating certain tokens over here and stuff. So it's exciting. You see the AI narrative starting to bounce back as well. AI XBT up 61%. You're seeing Giga. I think this is Murad's token there, whatever he tries to push a lot, is up 27%. There's not many other ones on this one that I'm seeing. But yeah, so looking pretty good, guys. You know, I think we definitely waited and gone through the tough times. So I think we deserve some sort of excitement and entertainment here for the next couple months.
Yeah, we deserve a win. We deserve many wins at this point. I mean, we've been just grinding away. Everyone who watches the show, every single one of you guys, man, deserve this, and I'm going to be rooting for every one of you guys to win, no matter what you're holding. I think we all. I think it's just, if let's just say your coin goes 30%, and the coin might go 50%, and some coins might go 20%. But I think at the end, we're all going to win.
100%.
Let's jump in that roll call here. And my guy, Lackey Lukey, somebody who has been really, really hit by the Reaper. Congratulations to you, my friend. You are number one today. Got your 10th win of the year, bro. Congratulations. Only behind Webdro at 16 and Danny Boy at 20. Danny, man, Lackey's coming for you, bro. And if you don't know what this is, we have been calculating, just kind of documenting every first comment. So the first comment of the show, every single day, when we come in here, whatever that first comment is, that's the winner. So Mike's World was the first one, followed by Yashir, so on and so on. And then it's been a crazy, crazy year. But Lackey Lukey has 10, Webdro has 16. Danny Boy has 20, and ASAP Benji has 7. So that's your leaders right now. But this is anyone's game. We still have like 180 days left in a year. There's still probably like 140 weekdays left that you guys can win. And this is anyone's game right now. Is start tracking it, guys. Start getting in here. So. Yep. And don't forget to like it. When you guys come in, I really hope you guys are liking the video. That really helps the show. We're actually kind of trying our best now to kind of get those likes up. If you guys can help us with that, that would really, really help. Well, let's kind of get into the roll call here. Obviously, we mentioned Lackey already. ASAP Benji is here. So Cypher Genesis has landed on the moon. Congrats, Spot Lackey. Cypher Genesis, has it been doing that good? I haven't looked.
It started to bounce back some. You have to remember a lot of these, they pulled back 10x or more just because, the conditions and all that stuff. But yeah, it's back above 1 million. It's sitting at like 1.55. So we know that Butoshi is really in on this. So I expect it to bounce back. We'll see if it gets to where it was or even higher.
Amen. Lucky Luke says, thanks, Benji. Webdro is here. Shout out to Webdro. He says, Lucky Luke, don't get reaped. I think keeping the chat active helps. That might help, honestly. If you guys come in and put more comments, I'm not sure, but maybe.
Yeah.
PJNZ says, happy Monday. Let's go. Lucky Lucas says, thanks, Webdro. Danny Boy is here. Says, grats, Lackey. He says, I'm not starting work till May 5th, so I'll still be here one more week. Danny wants those dubs, baby. Danny wants those dubs. Shout Danny. He says, go Wolves 3-1. They said Lakers in 5.
They looked good.
Like the Wolves in 5, but we'll see. I got to look more into that. Webdro says, Danny Boy, yes. Welcome back, Yagobi, says Webdro. Shizzy held it down like a boss. Did my best, bro. Did my best. And then Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Followed by Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you. Shout out to Mr. Hanky, LFG, my guy with a Billy Cat. Plus ad is here. So let's stay above the 20 SMA. Is that a big deal?
I'm sure it is. I use the 50-day EMA, but I'll look into that and maybe that's an indicator I can slap on there as well.
Oh yeah, Malam Yuri is here. Says pump to enter May. Yes, buy in May and go away. Might be the strategy this time. 1I equals X is here. Says please runes rise. They're rising, baby. They're rising. PJNZ goes look at those bearded legends. So I cut mine a little bit. So that was a little premature, but thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, PJNZ, for sure. Lucky Lukey is here. Abstract says, what's your opinion on Abstract? Got opinion on Abstract?
Yeah, bullish on it, man. And I don't make it a secret. I'm bullish on Luca Nets, right? And I think that he's going to eventually have some sort of integration with the Bitcoin ecosystem. He's too smart to not. He's already talked about it with our partners, about getting some ordinals over there and stuff. So I think Abstract's going to be a success story, 100%. I would not bet against that, man. I saw a new post today. Pudgy Penguin partnered with Ledger. And this is a perfect example of a founder that puts business and marketing first. And I'm not saying he doesn't prioritize his community. Of course he does. But he's doing that by putting business first. Because if you don't, then you have to continue this like manufactured hype about your project, and that can't be sustainable. You know, yes, maybe if you hang out and it's just tiring, but if you do business fundamentals, you know, they might be able to show, you know, revenue soon. They, you know, and stuff like that. And people will look at Pudgies as like this innovator of like making memes and NFTs into like a solid business model.
Yeah, and not to mention the streaming, right? Like Abstract
Yeah.
is your all-in-one place to buy memes, to watch content, to learn, to play games. Like Abstract, their whole platform is phenomenal. So we'll see if they can win the L2 race, but we'll see. Chips and Dip is here, followed by K99. And then we have Satoshi Nakamoto says Yagobi is back. Shout out to Satoshi for watching the show. Spindrift is here. He says, what comes first? 89K or 101K?
101.
Hell yeah, I agree. Vader time here. So he says, what's up, guys? Bitcoin is truth. Let's go. Goose Honk says BRC 2.0 will be a game changer. Watch. What do you think about BRC 2.0, man?
We'll see. They've been talking about it for a long time. I think at this point, it's going to be really hard to overtake Runes just because of the infrastructure stuff. Millions of dollars being invested. You got Dan Held investing in Arch, which Arch is completely focused on, you know, servicing Runes, and so it's going to be tough. But we'll see. If, you know, I think they have talented people over there, but it's just right now the infrastructure looks focused on making Runes extend out.
100%, man. We got Mark from Launch Punk. Shout out to Mark. He says 85K or 100. Pretty much the same, right? We're gonna go 100.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Super fan is here. Shout out to my guy, Super fan, man. Guys, go check out Big Noodle. Check out everything he's building, man. Super fan, legend in our community. Love that guy. Shout out to you, my friend. La Lecamente is here. Shout out to, how do you say that?
I'm not sure. I was having trouble earlier too.
Diamante Crypto. So shout out to you, my friend. Marcelo is here. Shout out to you, my friend. He said we're back. Yes, like we never left. Marcelo says dog. Shout out to the dog community. Superfan says welcome back, Yagobi. Shout out to Superfan again. Patty Poo is here. Colton Brumwell, my guy, says Bitcoin Foxes on top.
Okay.
Bitcoin Foxes. You know much about them? I haven't looked into them.
Yeah, I think they were OG collection, but I think they might have been like right before the million or right around there. Inscription.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll definitely look into them, Colton. Hillbilly is here. Shout out to Hillbilly. He says GM from the Pennsylvania Wild. Shout out to you, my friend. I'm not far from the Pennsylvania Wild, so that is awesome. Shout out to you. Steamy J is here, followed by last but not least, our guy, Chief Axel. Shout out to you, my friend. Always rocking for us, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys who make roll call every single day, guys. And put a comment in the chat, please. That helps the show and liking it as well. So really appreciate every single one of you guys who helped the show with a comment. It actually means a lot to us. So thank you guys. But let's kind of get into our main topic of today, Bitcoin runes. From hype to reality. What's next? So we've seen runes come out hot with the pre-runes, get absolutely destroyed last summer. Had a little bit of a pull up in the late fall, early winter, and then just get destroyed this year. What happens next with runes? And are you falling for the hype? And do you think it's a reality?
So, I mean, I think we fell for the hype in 2024 whenever they launched, right? I think everybody could say that. And it wasn't necessarily the fault of the protocol. It was timing was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, and once that happened, it just didn't really, it rode with that run up with alts in that 2-month period, like you talked about, October, November. But it had a very short kind of, it didn't really sustain too much, right? It hit it real quick and then pulled back. But it is a reality now, in my opinion, because of what's being built for it, right? People can always refer back to, you know, the counterparty days with Pepe Cash and all this stuff. But the difference is that you have more money going into it now.
Yeah.
You have more open minds kind of building for it. And they're building in a sense to where they're not trying to, you know, well, they're not able to anyways sacrifice Bitcoin security for it, right? So they're doing it in a way to where like these assets are created and they're being serviced, right? And so because there's so many chains and environments and builders all in on this, or at least trying to make it work, that's why I feel like it's going to work, right? And And so, yeah, to me, it's a reality. You have utility tokens, which you didn't have in that, 2015, 2016 counterparty years. You got a lot of memes, obviously. But the biggest thing is something like Arch Network that's going to roll out, right? And there's a lot of attention on it. You got people like Dan Held investing in it, DPI going full in on it. And it has that quick Solana, capability. But not just that, you have like Odin, which uses ICP. Then you have Funky Bit too, that's going to be a part of Arch, and they're actually moving runes around and stuff and bridging off into completely different ecosystems, right? And so that's why I feel like the infrastructure is there and it's way ahead of any other standard, and that's why I think it's the reality. What about you?
Yeah, I feel the same. I think this is just the beginning of something special. I think this is the very early days. If you get in now, if you get it dog, around 265 million or Magic Internet Money, Billy, Pups, Nikola Tesla. This can't be real.
That one's interesting, man. Like it's actually doing numbers, but the holder count's kind of like 6,000. But
okay,
I don't know who's behind that though.
Yeah, that's weird. Gizmo was running hard. It kind of a little bit of pullback here. Cypher Genesis, which a lot of chat is very bullish on. Sigraham. So there's a lot of projects in here that are really ramping up, but you do have some pullbacks here, like Liquidium back down to 13 million. I just think the memes have to run first. Satoshi Nakamoto in the game here. What's the market cap of Satoshi? Is that real? 2.55?
Yeah. Yep, that's legit.
Wow. That's a lot higher than I thought it was. I thought it was like, wasn't it a couple hundred K at one point?
I think it got down barely below 1 million. But it's sustained between 1 and 3. Yeah. I would say the issue now is you have like a Satoshi on Odin. And so I think personally that this Satoshi Nakamoto being the original is going to eventually outpace that one. And especially if it gets rolled into the slingshot and they do the slingshot marketing correctly and stuff like that. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So right now you got the big guys running, right? You got Dog up 63% on the week, Billy, Pups, right, all up. You do have some laggards, right? So what are you thinking? If you were going to get in now, what would be your thing? It's like you had $2,000 on the sideline. What are you thinking?
Oh man, like everybody knows that I'm a Billy guy, right? Everybody knows that, so that I'm gonna be biased. I mean, but there is some truth to like the upside. You see it at like 20 million. We know that it was at 150 in October or around there, 155 million actually, and so their goal is obviously to get to $1 billion market cap, which would be amazing. So I think the upside of the biggest ones is in Billy, like the most upside. Obviously, Dog could get Dog in terms of the reach, there's no comparison. Like right now, like I love Billy, but there's no comparison. You look on X, you can see the amount of posts and stuff like that. And so Dog has that ability to get to $2 billion market cap. If it's crazy, it could go higher. And so in terms of like low hanging fruit, I feel like something like Gizmo could pop off, but it's gonna have that derivative with Pups. Bro Bear to me is one that could really do work because there's some people that influence it a little bit outside of our ecosystem. They have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm talking about Kook, people like that, right? He's big on Bro Bear. I think Bro Bear is starting to build this like meme narrative that's pretty strong. So I think that could be a really good gamble. And this is all speculative, guys. Obviously. And then you have some stuff like Base Internet Panda that's back to 1 million and Psycho Hamster that's right at 1 million. But I think those maybe could get to 20, 30 and like an all out like crazy environment. I think Liquidium's severely undervalued. I think Fluid also is going to be severely undervalued because they're utility tokens here. Yeah. And so
any sales on it? There it is.
Probably not yet. I don't think. Oh, there's one.
$17 million market cap. There's one. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, it's that Fluid's higher market cap than Liquidium right now.
Yeah. And that's because you have the token on the other side, right? So that's
exactly. So that's the benefit of Fluid is it already is a token on the Cardano side, so you can actually bridge back and forth, which is another infrastructure deal, right? Like teams are building into runes, and that's why you know, I feel that way. The one that's kind of gives me the rune coin a little bit ruggish feeling, but could be like a small window of opportunity is that Fehu, but probably not, just because they came out of nowhere and posted and then they ghosted again. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about something like decentralized? You know, we noticed the Kongs, right? Hasn't really done too well here.
Yeah, and they really haven't been back into communication as much. But I think it's probably smart for them not to at this point, because when they were communicating, they handled it poorly. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
But like when they were trying to communicate, they were just getting like beat down because they handled the initial part poorly. But I do expect them, if the runes ecosystem explodes, I expect them to kind of come back in and be like, hey guys, you know, like we can build, you know, you're gonna see a lot of that.
100%. RSM up 140% this week. Yeah, it got beaten down though. This thing got down to about like 200K. What do you think about RSM and what they're building over there? Can this thing get come back?
I don't know, just because I feel like the dev is unreliable. You know, he would say stuff and it just didn't go anywhere. And they're not a part of like the solution, are they? Like,
yeah,
you know, they're not a part of the rune solution right now. So
you got to bridge your runes there, even if, right? So you got to bridge your BRT20s there. So it's not anything there, but you know, I would say sell the popple in this one. Not really bullish on that at all. But hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong a lot, especially this year. But yeah, for me, if I had that money, I would just go all on dog. I think dog's the safest bet here because the Kraken listing's coming, right? And it's going to pop dog. But then I also could pump Billy. So I honestly think dog, Billy, pups are probably the three that I would be in. And if you wanted to get risky, maybe something like Gizmo, Cypher Genesis, Seiko, Lobo.
What about Magic Internet Money? How do you feel about that one?
It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is from Mavenspot, right? So it's, I don't know. Maybe
it swings pretty hard if you notice. Yeah, like you know, I think it got it got up to like, I think maybe 70, right around 70 million. Swung all the way back down to like 40 something, and then swung back up to 65, and now we're sitting at 57. I do think that there's you know, enough support, community, and narrative push that this can do well. I just don't think that it can do as well as they're portraying. But you always want to be positive about your project, your community. But there, you know, a lot of people are saying it will pass dog. I just don't see it. And I also heard this, that like dog is so manufactured and so like artificial community. I actually disagree with that completely. I think that like you have someone that is working extremely hard in Leonidas for this community and pushing it, but that doesn't mean it's manufactured and artificial completely. Like you see these people that are like in the spaces or post about it, they're diehard. They're diehards, you know, and the mentions and stuff. And I think if it wasn't for dog, honestly, I think it'd be really tough for runes to be in this situation to where, you know, the first big tier one exchange will list them, right? Because the one thing that centralized exchanges can't ignore is the dog mentions on Twitter, and Leonidas makes sure that everybody sees that.
And can't forget the holder count, right? 97,000. I mean, you potentially you have 97,000 users, right? I mean, probably not them all, but I mean, there's a good chance that, you know, when people want to sell, they'll deposit to a centralized exchange, and then go out that way if they're interested in doing that. But I don't know. You're not gonna, like, you know, no exchange is gonna be excited to get something like with 15,000 holders, right? In the beginning, right? Unless there's a lot of upside that they can see happening. But you're seeing the ones that are getting listed on Binance right now. I mean, they're over 200,000-300,000 holders on a lot of these Solana coins that are getting listed. So,
yeah, and it's a bit unfair because of the way that the liquidity flows in those, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I do think that something like dog getting on like a Binance or cracking Coinbase, whatever, will propel the rest of the ecosystem. And especially if the slingshot onboarding strategy works, then you'll see, I think, that the holder count really trickle up quick.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. All right, all right. Any last words on runes before we go to our next segment?
Yeah, I just I think it's exciting time for the runes ecosystem. There's a lot of catalysts. We'll see if it plays out. I think it will, and I'm always open minded to other things in the ecosystem too. You know, the alkanes, the BRC 2.0. So, but it just seems to be like the building in different environments and stuff is happening mostly for runes.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll get some Alkane stuff a little later. But guys, it is Monday, and every Monday we like to bring in our friend Jeff from MerlinChain. MerlinChain, they're actually doing a lot, guys. So huge updates from Merlin. So recently, they just announced a partnership with Wrapped Bitcoin. Wrapped BTC is absolutely one of the biggest wrapped coins ever, right? There's billions of dollars locked in wrapped on every chain. I mean, if there's wrapped Bitcoin on a lot of chains, it's everywhere. But Merlin also has an MBTC, right? So that's actually pretty awesome that they're kind of solidifying themselves as a wrapped contender, but also partnering with the king of wrapped coins, which is WBTC. So this is really amazing. Not to mention, MerlinChain got Bitmap on an exchange. They got some BRC20s on an exchange. This is absolutely madness what they're able to accomplish over there on MerlinChain.
Yeah, I agree, and it's not just a partnership. And you're talking about almost kind of like a fraternity of being like integrated into their DAO, right? So a member of the DAO. So that what do you have to have for that? You have to have trust, you have to have big responsibility, and a lot of things. And so we'll let Jeff kind of get into that, and we'll ask him some questions about it. And there's a lot of things, though. You know, the Bitmap token, kind of see some other updates before we jump into that huge topic there.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. So without further ado, let's bring him up. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Cool. Hey, hey guys. I'm in London right now, so it's like what time? 5 p.m. Yeah, 5 p.m. You guys are making me miss,
Oh
no, sunshine. Yeah, the beautiful sunshine today. The weather is pretty awesome. It's not cold, it's not hot, and I just spent a few days here, and I'm flying to Dubai tomorrow morning, and to attend the Token 2049. So. Still lots of meetings ahead.
Awesome. Glad to be back myself, and glad to have you on, and really you dedicating your time for the community here. But a lot of stuff happening with MerlinChain. I want to kick it off with something that you're passionate about. I mean, your Twitter name is Bitmap Tech, right? So the announcement of Bitmap token getting listed on respectable centralized exchange. Could you talk a little bit about that and how that happened and what you expect for the future of the token?
Yeah, so I think after last year, there are fewer and fewer exchanges interested in BRC20 and runes, which I just heard you guys talking about the dog token and CX stuff. But there are still some exchanges, they strongly believe that BRC20 and runes have potential in the future. And it's just like a cycle thing. Sometimes it gets like super popular, and sometimes it just gets like left out for a while. So BTSE is like one of the biggest exchange in Asia, and I think they're based in Taiwan, and they have many Asian users. I think the biggest community is Chinese, Japanese, and some other countries as well. So they ask us, just to recommend some tokens, for them to start with. We recommended Merl, of course, and Party and BMAP token. So yeah, I think like I said in Twitter, I think it's just a start. Just make more progress with first, I think changing the non-fungible format of Bitmap into the fungible token is a great thing, because I think Bitmap is still growing every day. Every day there are 144 new blocks, and with all that UTXO, you can never trade them easily on layer 1. So that's why we need the wrapped version of the fungible tokens, and because more exchanges list them in the future, it's going to be much easier and cheaper for users to buy them.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a vision a long time ago whenever, I was hearing about this bitmap token being on Merlin, or the idea of it. And I just thought about supply and demand. Could you go into a little bit of how, if this gets picked up by another centralized exchange, how this can affect like the value of bitmap, maybe from a branding level and just a monetary value?
Yeah, because if you are an inscription on layer one, it's really hard to attract new users. I mean, we have to admit that, right? Because I don't think we see many users, install Unisat or Xverse in the past few months. I mean, they are, but like there are not many. But if that token is on centralized exchange, people can see the trend. It's going up, and people can check the introduction. People can join the community and understand what is behind that asset. I think first you definitely educate more users. Second, and when these users are interested, it's going to be much easier for them to buy, right? On CX, you just use stable coins and to buy these assets, and also more buying power will eventually drive the price higher, because these people, they buy the bitmaps who will never buy them on chain, on Bitcoin layer one, and this could drive more buying power and to make the whole asset in a much more valuable way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. 100%. And this is a big deal for a lot of other reasons as well. So, we were just talking about how Cardano has like no alts that are on any exchanges, right? So Merlin now has a bunch of these ERC20s that run on MerlinChain on centralized exchanges. This is a big deal for that reason as well, as a lot of people are starting to trust the MerlinChain and the coins that run on top of it. How big of a stamp of approval do you think that is from exchanges to launch not just Merl, but tokens running under Merl?
Yeah, that is something we actually tried very hard last year, because we know for sure many exchanges just won't introduce the Ruins deposit and BRC20 deposit. So imagine you're a CX CEO, it's going to be paying the ass for you to integrate the deposit on Bitcoin layer one. And that's why I don't know if you guys remember last year when few tokens, Ruins tokens, I think one is called the X. Do you guys remember? The X,
Bitcoin
the
X.
Ruins. Yeah, the X Ruins. So they basically launched on Merlin and give their airdrop on Merlin, and then you can use Merlin network to deposit into Biget, which Biget is a very, very good exchange. So that is what we're trying to push. And also last year many exchanges asked us about can we do DOC deposit so they can list DOC, and but the last thing they're trying to contact the team, but anyway, it fell off. But I think that shows exactly why we're doing this, because if in the future there are like more new tokens on layer one, great community behind that token, but like very few exchanges can accept that. That is what happened like right now. I don't see any new exchange integrate with Ruins in the past few months, because it's just not worth it. So I think Merlin has that responsibility to do that. And right now we are integrated with over 20 plus different exchanges on network. So if there's a new Ruins token or BRC20 token, these exchanges can be listing this token in a second. Like when you guys see like Trump token in the morning, and in 4 hours, OKX, Binance, like all these exchanges list Trump because they integrate the Solana network. So I think this is actually very important. But let's see what happens in the future.
Yeah, because it benefits both ways. Let's say that there's centralized exchanges that do add Ruins infrastructure and they bring on Ruins, but then there's some that just don't want to go through that hassle. Then there's 2 options, right? You can do it the simple way. The supply and demand is still there, because once the ERC20 version of the token goes over, it still has to be replenished if the supply goes down, and you would get that from bridging over from layer one. So at the end of the day, it all works out, right, in terms of creating that demand, right?
Yeah, like okay, so let's do like audience sets with Merlin network standard as well. So I think technically this is very important, but because it's all tech and all BD, so it's not that cool to talk about. But I do think it's like a joint effort trying to push Bitcoin assets into more trading platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. Let's jump into the next thing here. This is absolutely huge, Jeff. So we were actually doing some research just on this morning. So Merlin has done a partnership with the Wrap Bitcoin DAO. I don't think people understand how big that is, because Wrap Bitcoin DAO has billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin sitting there, and we're actually named as one of the co-signers. Could you kind of get into a little bit of that for us?
Yeah, I think Wrap Bitcoin is, first, it has long history, and I think it is one of the most important assets in crypto space. I think WBTC has about over like 10 to 12 billion US dollar worth of Bitcoin there, and it is accepted by most DeFi protocols. It was accepted by most chains. Layer 0 had a strategic partnership with them to bridge the assets from Ethereum Layer 1 to other chains as well, which is also integrated with Merlin. So first, I think this is very important protocol, because users need Wrap Bitcoin on EVM network years ago. And second is because from last year, many projects are doing BTC5. No matter what your opinions is on that, I think it's going to happen, and I think it's benefiting everyone, because there's some people, call them smart or dumb, it doesn't matter. There's some people willing to lock their Bitcoin, and this is helping everyone. Even you are a Solana holder, Bitcoin price going up, it still helps you. So no matter your Bitcoin Maxi, your MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, whoever you are, Donald Trump, you will love the BTC5 narrative eventually. So I think these two things, the intersection here is how can we push more Bitcoin into the BTC5, because WBTC is Wrap Bitcoin, lots of history, lots of chains, lots of volumes, and BTC5 is a new thing. So you can see like Soft BTC, MBTC, Babylon, like all these new protocols doing new innovations, but WBTC somehow seems stuck there and didn't do much about it. So I think that is why we jump in. We have partnerships. We basically started the BTC5 last year, so we have all these users, protocols, builders trying to build BTC5, and also we will have over 10 to 12 billion dollar worth of Bitcoin there in the custodial. And what if we put them together? Because the strength of WBTC, it is accepted by most protocols and chains. No other Bitcoin have that kind of power. No matter your Coinbase Bitcoin, CBBTC, or Binance Bitcoin, BTCB, or MBTC, or Soft Bitcoin, like all these BTC ticker doesn't have the trust and the power of WBTC. But on the other hand, we have the builders, we have the users, and we know what is going on in the BTC5 space. So I think it's great. It's a good opportunity for us, to do this, and also it's pretty honored, to be on their DAO, because they are very like limited. Parties can do that. I think right now they have like 9 co-signers in the DAO, in the core DAO, which we can vote, we can do signatures, and these 9 and the other parties are like Uniswap, like Aave, like MakerDAO, like all these like big DeFi OGs. And last thing is, I was talking to my friend yesterday in London. Is I don't think there are many things like make sense in the crypto. Many things we talk about today, like NFT, inscriptions, to be honest, GameFi, metaverse, AI, not all the things make sense. But in my mind, the only 3 things make sense is first, stablecoin. I'm talking about Web3, not token.
Yeah.
I mean, all tokens make sense, like XRP, Cardano, whatever. I'm talking like in Web3. First is stablecoin. Stablecoin is like the key that everyone in the world can trade in crypto space. Second is DeFi. If you want to trade on chain in a decentralized way, swap, DEX, lending, getting leverages, becoming LP, like all these things in DeFi make sense because it's actually changing the world. And the third thing I'm thinking about is Wrap Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is already huge. Bitcoin is already bought by all these ETF, all these liquid fund, and with Wrap Bitcoin, $2 trillion valued asset there. You can do lots of things with Wrap Bitcoin. You don't need to wrap other things, but Bitcoin is the first thing you need to do, because like right now, I don't think many institutions or government are buying Solana or Ethereum, but they are buying Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
I think these are the very few things I think actually make sense in Web3, and we of course we're going to build that in a longer term.
Yeah, 100%. And two, you got to remember, a Bitcoin ETF is just wrapped Bitcoin, right? I mean, it's basically the same thing. You're basically have a receipt for your Bitcoin, and that's basically what wrapped Bitcoin is. You're saying, hey, I own a Bitcoin that's in this wallet, and I'm using it in an EVM environment. But I'm just curious, how does something like that happen, like behind the curtain? Like, how did you actually? And this is a huge honor, like you mentioned. I mean, BitGo, Curve. I mean, these are huge players in the space. And now, if you go look it up, who's in it, you see at the very bottom, and Merlin as of April. So it's a really cool honor, like you mentioned. But like, how does something like that happen for MerlinChain and you?
Yeah, I think first, we are like one of the very few pioneers in the Bitcoin ecosystems.
Yeah,
Right now, there are many people laughing at Bitcoin ecosystem because they think Bitcoin doesn't have ecosystems. I think this is kind of like hilarious because everybody thought this could be huge last year, but right now everybody thinks Bitcoin doesn't have ecosystem. But we are one of the very few pioneers, and we did put like a lot of effort and time into this. So that proves us have the commitment in the space. The second thing is we don't take like political stand, because I think one bad thing about Bitcoin and also Bitcoin ecosystem is there's too many politics. Like you're supporting Binance Bitcoin, you're supporting Coinbase Bitcoin, like you're supporting Solve, or you're supporting Solve's competitor, lots of FUDs against each other. I think this is really bad because Bitcoin's ecosystem is so small, and you have Bitcoin Maxi who hates Ordinals, and you have Ordinals Maxis who hates Ruins, and you have Ruins Maxis hates whatever out there, and have all these layer 1 Maxis hate layer 2, which we should be friends and not competitors, because we don't dilute your token. And if you look at all these Bitcoin projects, you can see Merlin is the only one doesn't dilute Bitcoin layer 1 assets. All these other projects you're shilling is they dilute your asset. So I do think we don't take political stand. We do this because we believe in wrap Bitcoin, and I do know for sure WBTC is the most decentralized protocol. You can see their proof of assets on multi wallets. You can see all these transactions, but if you're trying to check Coinbase Bitcoin last year, they don't show you anything about what is CKBTC, what is behind CKBTC, CBTC. And so I do think WBTC is very, very decentralized and have all people holding the signatures, which is a very important deal. So I think based on all this, we had the communication months ago, and and we choose to work together. It's not about we are working with them or working for them. I think WBTC is a decentralized DAO, and everybody has the responsibility to be part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, to your previous point, you're right. WBTC is very important. And you can see that with like even World Liberty Fi, the Trump portfolio on Ethereum, they actually purchased WBTC first, right? Like that was a part of their Bitcoin reserves there. But going back to MerlinChain's role here, or your role with the Wrap Bitcoin DAO, okay? Are you guys coming into this just to kind of be that signer, or do you guys have plans to be more of an active leadership role?
Yeah, I think right now we are probably the more aggressive or active guy in the DAO, because all the other guys, they are like OGs, and they haven't supported or built anything on BTC5. We are the only one doing that, and I know WBTC needs that, because right now all these people who have WBTC is like either Trump or like these huge DeFi protocols, and not retail users. Like there's no reason for retail users to buy WBTC on Ethereum, right? Because if you don't buy Bitcoin, you just go to Binance or Coinbase to buy Bitcoin. So BTC5 is like having progress, is improving every day, and we want the holders of all these new BTC5 assets and change them, or trying to trying to educate them about what is WBTC, and welcome more users to hold WBTC. And also for WBTC, it's not, I don't think it has partnerships with all these BTC fiat projects. I mean, all these projects allow WBTC to basically, like, if you have WBTC on Ethereum, you can use that to mint soft Bitcoin. But it's like Solve allows WBTC to mint them, but it's not a two-way partnerships. So we want to build more two-way partnerships with WBTC and all these BTC5 projects, and I think we are the only one who can deliver that. So yeah, I think we are the one will be more active in the future and trying to introduce WBTC into the BTC5 space.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to do that, to kind of have WBTC, but then you also have MBTC, right?
Yeah.
Which now, to me, I mean, being the guy who is on the, is one of the guys in the DAO, but then also having MBTC kind of shines a light on MBTC a little bit. It kind of gives it that stamp of approval that we were kind of just talking about. But now, I mean, right now, I think the best strategy for someone who wants to be safe with Bitcoin is a wrap Bitcoin MBTC LP pair, because that's easy money.
Yeah, and MBTC is just like small child here. It only has $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, but WBTC is a big guy here, and we're trying to do we're trying to invent a way that like you're using WBTC, but also you can use that to mint MBTC with yields, and also not only working with MBTC, but also working with Uni Bitcoin, Soft Bitcoin, LBTC, CBBTC, like all these other Bitcoin LRT. And also I think right now too many different protocols, too many bridges. We do see some like security issues in the past. Nothing crucial, but I don't think we need more. How do I say this? We don't need more wrapped Bitcoin. We only need like 1 or 2 or 3 wrapped Bitcoin, but we can build LRT based on that wrapped Bitcoin. For example, if you go to Jupiter on Solana, you see their vault takes in WBTC. Because they don't need to create a new Solana Bitcoin, like Bitcoin. They don't need to create that. They just accept WBTC, and that's it. And you can generate yield in Jupiter. So what I'm saying is, I think in the future, all these other Bitcoin like MBTC, Sol BTC, like all these LRT can just use WBTC or BTCB as a wrap Bitcoin, and somehow we build upon that. Because right now it's too confusing. If you introduce BTC5 to users, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, and I think you were the perfect person though, because you're right. MerlinChain really did start BTCFi, with Solve, and you were able to do stuff there, and it was the first L2 that launched that had that. So I think that's super exciting. This is my last question, and I have to ask this just because I feel like the community, the MerlinChain community, probably wants this question in here. But like, how does this benefit like the MerlinChain and like the community? The one thing I think of is like reputation and brand. But what's your answer to that?
Yeah, first, I think right now everybody in BTCFi is trying to upgrade what we're doing last year. So I think last year, first, not gonna lie, the Merlin Treasury made like a lot of money doing BTCFi, and Solve made a lot of money doing BTCFi as well. And also users who participate in Babylon, Solve, Merlin surely make a lot of money. The APR is high. I don't think the APR of Bitcoin is ever that high in the Bitcoin history. So if everybody can make money, will this community or ecosystem be stronger? I say yes. This is not a short-term fact. But looking at Solana, like why is Solana going so high last year? Because everyone, or like not everyone, because many people on Solana, they are making profits. They are making money. No matter you are LP on Jupiter or Radium, or you are a trader on Pump Fund. So I think it's very key to, let the participants, the parties, the builders in your ecosystems can, sustain, like with a sustainable business model can make revenues and profits in the long run. So if the treasury has more money, we can do more buybacks. If the users have more money, they are more willing to be a diamond hand. So that is why I think it's important. It's not like a shitting point that Merle is listed on a new exchange, or there's a new meme token on chain, or there's a new whatever AI or GameFi on chain. But this is definitely for long run, because like I said, if everyone has a pretty high APR, they are more willing to stay on Merle.
Yeah, man. And the biggest thing here is you guys are helping Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is the most decentralized asset in the world. Bitcoin is the number one asset that kind of makes or breaks the entire ecosystem. Bitcoin goes up, everyone's happy. Bitcoin goes down, everyone's extremely angry, right? the mood is just extremely angry. But you guys are helping lock up Bitcoin for a long amount of time. I mean, that's the one thing beauty about Bitcoin DeFi is people are locking their Bitcoins up, and they're shizzy proofing it, as I call it, because when you lock something up, you can't sell it, right? So that kind of helps a lot of people, because the longer you hold that Bitcoin, the better off you are. I mean, the years and years of experience and in the space will show you that, right? But so locking Bitcoin up, locking this entire ecosystem into potentially wrap tokens that are able to do really cool stuff. Do you see any projects like maybe alpha wise that you could see potentially building with wrap Bitcoin or building with MBTC?
Yeah. First, to what you're saying, yeah, I think imagine you're a guy who staked on Merlin Bitcoin last February when it's like 40K. And then you staked on Solve, staked on Avalon, staked on Babylon, all these tokens. And if you check, and you just went to sleep for a year, and you woke up today, you are definitely outperforming everyone in the space. Yeah, and you are not even tired because you were asleep the whole time. So this definitely shows how important just to hold Bitcoin. And to answer your question, I think there are still lots of things missing in the BTC-Fi space. We had some projects doing Bitcoin-based stablecoin, and it wasn't working out. And we have Solve doing using your Bitcoin to do Jupiter, Ethena on other chains, and the APR is pretty high in the past year, but it can be higher. So I think everything that Ethereum has proven it is working. That's why people build stablecoin, because they saw make it out. So and everything has been proved in the Ethereum space. It will definitely happen again in the Bitcoin space, and it will happen stronger because two fun facts I like to mention is first fun fact is if you check DeFi Llama, you will see if there's no BTC-Fi, which is started by us. If there's no BTC-Fi, the number on DeFi Llama will be so bad. If you check on DeFi Llama, the number will be so bad that you will definitely think, it's a bear market. Just like, if you don't look at Bitcoin price, you check every other token's price, like Ethereum, you will look so bad and people will lose confidence. But right now, when the Bitcoin price is high and also the DeFi Llama number is pretty, people still have confidence. Not people. The people I say is not everyday retail users, but also institutions, also professional investors. It's very important for them to have that kind of faith. The second fun fact is, if you look at Ethereum ecosystem or Solana ecosystem, people hate the projects or builders who just dump the token, but people love the protocols or builders who staked or who help users to stake Ethereum or Solana, because they understand more people staking the base asset is very important to help the ecosystem to grow. So I think that mindset should happen on Bitcoin, because when you see more BTC staking projects, when you see more BTC-Fi projects, no matter you are staking or not, you should support them, because they are making your assets more valuable. And like people had doubts. I think if a year ago we were talking here, people should have doubts. But here we go. After 15 months, people should have less doubts, because Solve, Avalon, Merlin, BitLayer, like Bob, like all these projects, they haven't stole your money. It's there. And like all these builders are proven to be safe. Comparing to Ethereum DeFi a few years ago, these builders, are proven to be, trustworthy. So yeah, I think people should not have more doubts at this moment, and should, to understand and support all these projects, because they are making your assets more valuable.
Yeah, man, I love it. 100%. Do you think there's a chance we can get potentially maybe 10% of the Bitcoin wrapped? Talking, hundreds of billions of dollars wrapped up within the next 12 months.
I don't think it will happen in the 12 months, because if you look at Bitcoin, 10% will be like 200 billion, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually not 200 billion, because there are lots of Bitcoin are just
They're
not
lost,
moving
yeah.
at all. Yeah, they're lost. So if you count those numbers in, I think 10% could be possible.
Hell yeah, love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And Shizzy, I like you and I were talking about this a little bit pre-show, that like people that accumulate Bitcoin and they have that real estate mentality, it's products like BTC-Fi that they're going to be able to earn from. So this is like the foundation of, okay, I want to use my Bitcoin kind of like real estate. Where can I earn it? What products can I use it? BTC-Fi is kind of that break ground foundation, I think, of that. So super exciting stuff, Jeff. Any last words on, the WBTC DAO and that announcement?
Yeah, I think people just haven't realized, how many Bitcoin are there just not used. Imagine yourself is Michael Saylor, and you have all this Bitcoin in your vault, and you're just not using it. Imagine you have 1% APR, just 1%. That will create, thousands of new Bitcoin every year, which is crazy, And WBTC, they have, I think, 150,000 Bitcoin in their vault. Imagine just have, a 2% APR, that is 3,000 Bitcoin every year. So like, if there's a way to utilize these assets, it could be huge. It could be bigger than most projects in Web3.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because there's a need for it, so awesome. Well, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment, and that's awesome. I would love if I was in that position to be a signer. But any other updates for MerlinChain before we let you go?
I think at this moment, the AI products, we are probably going to deliver a few more products in May. We are trying to use a permissionless way to integrate other protocols. So right now, you can ask Merlin Wizard anything about Merlin, right? You can ask more data, and you can do execution. But what if there's a new project? For example, if the particle network or Solve protocol or other protocols are trying to use that AI ability, because we got like many people asking us, how can we be part of that? And because they don't want to spend time and effort to build their own AI product, and we're trying to find a way to do this permissionlessly, to expand to hundreds, thousands of new projects, because all this information are kind of open source like online. If you check for example, if you're trying to do research on Solve protocol, you go to their Twitter page, you go to their website, you go to their Medium, their Notion, their GitHub. So all these information are kind of out there. And I know for sure ChatGPT or Grok is not doing that kind of work, because they don't care. So what if Merlin Wizard can expand to more projects just like in a second, and that can help many other teams to deal with their community. So for example, you're a new project owner, you cannot be in the Discord to explain everything to your users every day, but just like throw in a link, and they can do this with the AI agent. So that is the next move for the Merlin Wizard, and I think this is helping many other projects as well.
I love that. So it's basically kind of a B2B approach to where you can utilize the Wizard AI to save time and focus more on building and helping kind of customer service in a sense. Did I get that right?
Yeah, but I don't think we are trying to do the B2B. We're just trying to do it in a much permissionless way, such as like you just input the project name, and give us like 30 minutes, and you can build this project by yourself, and you are not even the owner of the Solve protocol. Just input their website, input their name, input their medium, and boom, after 30 minutes, you build Solve on Merlin AI, and even their team doesn't even know this, but this is easier.
I love that.
Wow, that's absolutely insane. That's futuristic completely, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to start using the wizard to start bridging and stuff like that. Is that something you guys are working with? Because that, to me, that's the biggest thing that I would want. Hey, bridge my Bitcoin over to Merl, or bridge my Merl Bitcoin back to BTC layer 1. Is that something that potentially the AI will be able to do for me?
Yeah, of course. We're trying to achieve more than that, but just waiting for the final version and waiting for the good timing. We have like a lot more new catalyst in May, but yeah, let's talk about that like next week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Last thing, I'm gonna let you go. Does this Bitcoin price action continue up, or do we see pullback?
I mean, the second you leave the show, it goes up. It went up really high. So just take another week vacation in Hawaii and see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But awesome, man. I know you're in London, and you're really busy getting ready for Dubai 2049. But we appreciate you, Jeff. As always, you don't get a founder of a chain to communicate every week, and we thank you so much for that. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See you.
Bye.
See you, buddy. They're absolutely amazing, as always, man. Jeff's so funny. Like I was telling you pre-show, like last week I did the Monday show myself, and then Jeff came on, and we sat there for like 30, 40, 45 minutes and just just talking about Bitcoin price action and stuff. He's somebody who's really knowledgeable. He's someone who's been in the space a really long time. I mean, he's class of 2013, right? I mean, that's saying something, right? When you're buying Bitcoin for $300 instead of buying it for 93,000, right? So it's crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, love that segment. Absolutely amazing. And I thank all 218 of you guys on YouTube and the X and everyone else on Abstract, Rumble, and Twitch, man. Absolutely amazing episode. But I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad to be back. Like I always say, and I don't want to make his head so much bigger, but my partner holding it down. Definitely appreciate that, and appreciate you guys, showing back up here on a Monday. And look, guys, we're there. So just keep hanging in tight. But if you could check out our partners, we greatly appreciate that. That helps us a ton. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for Bitcoin Layer 1 ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your puppets, your node monks, your wizards from Bitcoin Layer 1 to MerlinChain, to Abstract, to Base, multiple EVMs to start off with, and eventually Solana as well. And you're going to be able to use the AI agent Hustle as well, to also in the future do Bitcoin transactions for you as well. But don't forget, they have a Rune TGE in September. You can participate in that in a ERC 721 format as of right now, in a pre-sale kind of environment. If you go to OpenSea and search Emblem Founder Vault Keys, you can see that. And then during September's TGE, you'll get instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. You can visit emblem.vision to learn more there. And BetBTC's the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets right away. They have their Blitz Markets, which is a 10-minute timer for you to kind of lock in that price. So you think it's going to go up or you think it's going to go down. After that 10 minutes is up, you wait an additional 10 minutes to see if you won or lost. If you win, they say you get paid out immediately, because it's kind of one of those results that you get right then and there. Also, you can just mess around on their platform because you earn points, guys. And you know what points means? Usually a future TGE there. So go to betbtc.win to learn more there. And Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching on a Bitcoin Layer 2, Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance. So big news there. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles like Ordi, Sats, Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cap possibly, as well as the popular tokens outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum, things like that. But if you head over to Artura.finance, you can learn more about them. Super exciting. You can also participate in their passive earning with supplying liquidity to their vaults. So check those guys out. Amazing stuff. They're going to be having their mainnet launch very soon. And then Fluid tokens. They started off on Cardano. They moved over to the Bitcoin. They're still building on Cardano, but they made huge waves, guys. They were the first to offer staking on Bitcoin Layer 1 to retail users. They just had their FLDT rune launch, and you're able to unstake your passes and get your runes in your wallet. Make sure you guys go do that. It's one transaction to get your original item staked and your reward all in one transaction. Super exciting stuff with that. And their Dog Go to the Moon vault will be open very soon once we get closer to the Bitcoin 2025 conference. So if you are a founder of an ordinal collection or you etched a rune and you have an established community, head over to their Discord, ask them how to get a staking vault started. They will hook you up. They have a team waiting for you guys there. They have exciting stuff coming with their Aquarium, which is the bridge between Bitcoin and Cardano. You're going to be able to stake. You're going to be able to swap. Exciting stuff there. Go check out fluidtokens.com. And MerlinChain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. We just had Jeff on here. Amazing founder. Tons of experience. And now they're in the wrapped Bitcoin DAO. That's huge. I don't know if you guys understand how big that is. That's just so big for their reputation, for their brand, as well as the future of MBTC as well. But if you want to help secure the chain and you have Merlin tokens, you can do so at merlinchain.io and go to, I think it's POS staking, and you can earn up to 15% APR. They do have plans to add the Bitcoin in there, and we'll update you guys as soon as we get that information. But if you're a builder and you want to scale out your protocol from Bitcoin Layer 1, build on MerlinChain, as they have great builder support. We have multiple partners that have been involved, built there, and it's an amazing experience, guys. You can go to merlinchain.io to learn more there. And finally, don't forget about our integrated partners and Foxy AI building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker, which we will be live streaming tomorrow, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Should be fun. I'm probably gonna get like 3 kills and get killed about 50 times, but I just have fun in there with you guys, right? So kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, but it'll be fun. Everybody's invited. All you need is a Bitcoin supported wallet, or I believe they support Phantom and MetaMask as well. Super exciting. We'll see you guys there tomorrow. And then Ordinal Hive is the Ordinal aggregator marketplace. So think something like SAS Terminal, but with ordinal collections, right? So it's going to be super exciting. I know they have a lot of partnerships coming up, and also they have really good trader tools. So make sure you take advantage of that, like their live mempool insights. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. And just to let you know, it's hard. Like I had to do it all week last week, dude. And buy Fluid tokens, I'm like, yeah, we got a bunch of other partners. Check them out too. Shout out to you, man. Do that every single day. Not easy, guys. Not easy. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution .io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023, guys. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, you guys can go get some free ones, right? There's free ones out there. They work okay. Depends on, if you like your connection or not. But I find that Nord is easily the best one. Nord will actually help you find malware on your computer as well. So you can always daily check that. Make sure you didn't accidentally download any malware. Nord has your back. And it's only $3 a month, guys. It's stupid not to have a NordVPN. It really is. Me and Yagobi both have one. I think I paid $36 for the year. Set it, forget it. I think it's actually coming up again for me to pay it again. So I'm excited to actually just get that out of the way again. But really looking forward to more features that they're going to be adding as well. So that's one thing that's awesome is too. So they keep adding new stuff. So if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we have the tickets here. Guys, it's about to be May. These tickets are about to go nuts. Do not wait any longer. If you're going, get the tickets here. Get the festival pass. It's a lot cheaper. Industry pass has gone up a lot since we first started talking about it, but that gets you all 3 days. The festival only gets just the back 2 days. But if you're just interested in going, you definitely use our link. It definitely helps the show. We really appreciate it. And if you guys need merch for that event or any event, check out our store tab. We are going to be taking down the Ordinal Revolution shirt. It is gone, guys. If you have one, you're an OG. That you got 2 days left to order this before we take it down if you're interested. So definitely check that out. But once it's gone, you'll never see it again, and we'll know who the real OGs are rocking the Ordinal Revolution t-shirt. But if you guys want some on-chain Revolution merch, we have it all here. We got hats, jackets, school bags, and much more. Check everything out at onchainrevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control me. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.